Thank you, Christina. It means a lot. I need to... Fucking bird clock. Thank you, Christina. You're the fucking best, dude. What's up, Hakuna Matata? What's up, Tom? How are you guys tonight? I'm thinking about listening to some more true crime stuff. Would you guys want to listen to Rotten Mingo or that chapter? Um... 100 women, this is what it says. It says 100 women kept as slaves in human egg farm for egg harvesting. Yikes. No, Dusk. Yeah, we just chill, listen to true crime stuff, hang out. Oh yeah, no, this isn't a card channel. We don't do that here. Anyways, What do you guys want to listen to? Is there something like you guys... Do you want to listen to that chapter, guys? Or do you guys want to listen to... We'll go check out that chapter. His videos are cool. Eric. That's my boyfriend's name. Yeah, I like Rotten Mango. She's pretty good. And I also like... I'm gonna grab my blankie. And I also like that chapter. There's a bunch that I like. Living for real. Okay, sorry, buddy. I had to get my blankies. Deadass, I'm gonna wrap myself up. Y'all can't judge me. I got a blankie to wrap around me, a blankie to put on my lap. I'm all for this. I'm freezing. I've been cold though, all day, all night. No, nobody's crying. My eyes are red. I just woke up not that long ago. I took a little nap because I was tired on the last live. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get off and like go to sleep for a bit until I feel not tired anymore. But here we are. We're back. What is your favorite car? I don't really know right now. Where are you at that it's so cold? It's not like it's like 20 degrees, but it's 30 something. It's 32. I'm in Ohio. Do you have OF? No. I go over this every day, every stream. I do not have OF. I'm not going to have an OF. So y'all gotta chill with all that. That ass looks like I'm in a robe. I look so comfy and cozy. I love this. Oh, this blanket feels so good. It's just so warm. Yes, smash that motherfucking like button. Oh, it's cold in New Mexico too, Eric. Damn, that makes me wish my boyfriend was in here so bad. Yeah, I'm back, Kegger. Your girl was tired. I feel rested now. But if you go back, I was just, my body felt all restless. I couldn't stop moving it and shit. Like, it was like just an uncomfortable moment. So I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep for like an hour. And then while being asleep, Eric wakes up. Your boyfriend has a great name. No, he does. He has an amazing name. It's spelled the same way you spelled yours too. You be hating on people that have weird names. We be hating. Like, it'll be like, I don't know, it's just like some weird name. Oh, that's why it's not working. Wow, we have 2 people here. Are you fucking serious? Always need your rest. That's the best way to heal your body. Yeah, for sure. I've just been not feeling good and, you know. So we're about to listen to his actual podcast. You drink too much and can't stop throwing up, Anthony. Sounds like an Anthony problem. Do you have a favorite type of coffee? Yeah, my Keurig's back there. I like like caramel coffees or like French vanilla. The satanic ritual murder of Elise Paler. Have you listened to that chapter podcast? That's what I have pulled up, Kecker. It's his podcast. I kind of want to see the terrifying listener stories. My favorite color, pink, blue, and green.
I have started the recording. All right.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yes. Hey, listen, board. It never gets old, folks. Hey, you and welcome to this is one of good old bonus episodes where we telling our listener stories. These were a lot of fun. These episodes. Please, hey, listen. It's kind of funny. So. Couple of things. Okay. One, I am currently drinking a Diet Coke. They have refused to answer my attempts at extortion, and frankly, I'm not a fan. Diet Coke, you owe me money for advertising and continuing to advertise.
You're still doing it.
I'm drinking a Diet Coke, and they have not paid me anything. So they'll be hearing from my lawyers soon if they refuse to pay the advertising fees they owe me.
Yep.
Quite frankly, and with interest.
And then some.
Yes, exactly. There's a big on these, Mr. Coke, if you're listening, and I know you are.
Every day it doubles, okay?
Yeah, it doubles. Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So listen, that was the point everybody just wanted to hear, because it's last time with the listener stories, just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of that.
Of course.
Story number 2 is your stories, folks. Every time we say so, the listener stories document where I have all of your little stories that you send in. It's 178 pages.
Yeah, I've been sick.
I said how long it was. It was like 60.
Yeah.
So
here, I'm gonna keep my food up.
They're great stories, folks. We really appreciate it. We love listener stories because, as well, it makes the listener a part of the community. It involves. I love how it's a really cool thing. It's really cool to be able to involve you people when you send in your stories. You were a part of the That Chapter podcast.
Get something to drink, baby.
That would just make me.
Whoops, it was
yeah,
muted.
Ghostbusters, if that was the case.
He like calls like the local craft beer after like a nasty spill off his bicycle.
Oh my god, just looking for the latest IPAs. Yeah.
So now the next story, it all took place in Chicago. Or my mom calls it Chicago.
I know, my dad calls it Chicago too.
Yeah,
I don't know why
people in the
Irish
Irish
people do that.
Yeah, it's favorite. So after graduating from college, I wanted to change, to go out into the world and prove myself and everyone else that I could do it. I rented a two-bedroom flat where the owner lived on the upper floor. It was a very old and beautiful flat. One morning before dawn, I was doing some crunches on the living room floor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Staying tight.
Gotta keep fit. I was positioned so that I was laying back. Oh, excuse you.
Thank you.
Just the one?
Yep.
Go away.
Okay, good.
Okay, go.
Thanks for waiting for me.
No problem.
I told you I've got a cold.
So, could be that mist fan you got in. So, I was positioned so that I was laying back so I could see the length of the flat and into my kitchen. Well, at one point, as I was laying on my back, I saw what looked like a woman walking from my kitchen to my bedroom. She was so vivid, I jumped up and looked around. Nothing. Then and there, I stopped doing crunches just before dawn.
Christina.
No more. Just let myself go.
Well, there's no dedication there, Lisa. Exercise comes first.
So the next experience was in that flat too. I had some friends over and they were in my living room while I was washing the dishes or something in the kitchen sink. It was at night time and the view from my kitchen window was...
I'll never forget Eric asking it
So
if
you
I
know
love
when
him
it's
and
dark
shit
and you
now.
look at the window, it's like a mirror. Well, I was standing in front of the window. I was looking down, but
That
still
shit
able
was
to
crazy.
see generally around myself. I saw someone walk behind me and go towards my pantry. I asked, "Who's there?" No response.
Well, I guess
dried
I
my
lost my
hands
toothpick
and I went
again.
into the pantry. No one was there. I walked back into the living room and asked if anyone had just
Why do
been
I
in the
always
kitchen.
lose that?
Everyone said no. The bottom of my windows were at least 10 feet off the ground. It couldn't have been anything from outside. Once again, no explanation.
Oh,
That's weird.
Lisa, I think you're haunted. I think she's haunted.
It's following you around.
Yeah.
Then one night I was doing laundry in the basement. The basement door had a bolt lock that required a key to lock and unlock from either side. Basket under my arm, I unlocked the door, put my keys in my pocket, turned
I'm gonna
the
be
light on
honest.
and went in. There was another light.
I'm not
with the
into
wash-
this one. I'm just not. I'm not feeling it. I'm not into it. I'm not digging it. I'm not digging the ghost stories. Like the people's ghost stories they're talking about. I don't think it's for me. The murders of Eddie Cabin. I don't know. No bullshit. Can't wait to go home. When do you go home, Christina? He just uploaded a video 21 minutes ago. The White House farm murders.
All right, yeah, we're recording.
Sweet. Awesome.
I know, that's great. Happy days. All right, hey you, and welcome. My name is... It's Mike. You can believe that.
Mike, nice.
Yeah, I know. It's a good name. And you're listening to the That Chapter podcast, the dulcet tones of...
Or there's true crime fan committed a murder out of curiosity. It's Rotten Mango, though. It's not that chapter.
Bada bing, bada bing.
It's 3 a.m. in South Korea, May 27th of 2023, so literally like a month ago. A taxi driver pulls over to pick up a young girl and her suitcase. He pops open the trunk. He even offers to help her put it into the trunk, but she's like, "No, I'm good, don't worry, it's not a big deal, I can do it by myself." She puts it in the trunk, closes it, slides into the back seat, and he glances at her in his rearview mirror. It's kind of late to be going on vacation, and on top of that, her destination isn't even to an airport or a bus terminal or anything like that. It's to the local park near the river. But who is he to judge?
What time was it?
3 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, he was just thankful that it was a pleasant, polite, nice young lady rather than a drunk businessman, which is typically the clientele at 3 a.m. He drives quietly to the park. She directs him where to stop the car, and she pays him. She slides out of the back seat and hauls her own suitcase out of the back of the trunk. Again, it looked really heavy, really, really heavy. She said, "No, don't worry about it, sir. I can do it myself." I mean, the physical strength of the youth never ceased to amaze this taxi driver. They say their goodbyes, and he watches with a little bit of curiosity as she practically skips into the
I can't
park
say I
towards
blame
the
you, girl.
grassy
That shit
field.
gets
What is
heavy
strange?
quick.
Strange.
I forgot my
girl.
blankie.
She looked like what? A middle schooler? A high schooler at most. She looked really young. I mean, what is she even doing alone at this hour? And where is she going with the suitcase in the park? He decides to take a smoke break right then and there. He honestly thought that she probably would need a ride back. I mean, no taxi was going to stop in the middle of the park for her to get onto the taxi. It's near the river at 3 a.m. I think nothing good can happen to a young girl roaming around looking for a ride at this time. So he's smoking it up, and he looks up. It's been about, 15, 20 minutes? And there she is again. And he's just watching her as she walks
You've
out
been there
of the
since
park
Wednesday.
towards him, and her
Damn.
suitcase looks very light all of a sudden. Because, earlier it was dragging on the wheels.
Yeah, that
It was
wears
kind of
on you
forcing her body
quick.
to lean a little bit forward to pull it. And now it's practically
I'm so glad
flying
you're
around
here.
as she's moving
Fuck,
about.
dude.
The girl asked him to ride back. The whole energy seemed strange. It seemed like she didn't even notice that it was the same taxi driver. And he
I was
kept
hoping I'd
glancing
have
at
a
her in the
couple
rearview
few
mirror
mods
as
here.
he drove
Is
her to her
Sean B
destination.
still here?
Something in his gut told him, this isn't right. Like, something feels wrong. Where would she have gone with that suitcase? And why would it be lighter coming out of the park? Nobody just throws away their clothes in the park. She might be a middle schooler, but there is this energy about her. He would alert the police, and they found that she had been transporting a victim's dismembered body from the victim's own
Holy
apartment
shit.
to that very park. The taxi
Sean B, I
driver
love
had
your new
unknowingly
pic.
transported dismembered human remains, in the trunk of his car. He had sat in the car with a young baby-faced killer, not once, but twice.
Wait, he called the police
Jesus.
just because how suspicious it was?
They searched the grassy field in the park.
Wow.
This case has recently gone viral in Korea for a number of reasons. Just the brazenness of the crime, the CCTV
boo.
footage of the killer looking like a happy person. I'm gonna show this to you. She's just skipping around with dismembered remains in her suitcase.
What a
She's got a
crazy
cute little
bitch.
bob, and it's almost bouncing about. People say it's so unsettling because she has this childlike mannerism to her.
You're
This energy to
welcome.
her. There's dismembered remains in the suitcase. But also, the fact that the killer was stated to have an unhealthy fascination with serial killers and an obsession with true crime documentaries.
Oh, God.
She killed, dismembered, and disposed of a victim because she, quote, just wanted to see what it feels like to kill. As always, full show notes are available at RottenMangoPodcast.com, but this is a developing case, and as always, this is the information that we have as of now. Things could change, they could get worse. I don't know if we'll get too much information considering the privacy laws in South Korea. Also, as per South Korean laws, the victim of this case and her family have chosen to stay anonymous, so throughout this case, we will refer to her with the alias of Hannah. And with all foreign cases, we had our Korean researchers work on this case to get as much of what we could that's out there and compile it in this video for you guys, so let's get into it. The victim, Hannah, was a young woman in her 20s. She was tutoring high schoolers in English. I would not say tutoring is an easy job in South Korea. It's a very serious job. Parents are picky, over-involved, very diligent in picking the absolute perfect tutor for their perfect children whom they believe are entitled to be the next Einsteins. So it's a difficult job, but Hannah liked it. She was a university student at a prestigious school, It worked well with her schedule, and it made it easier for her to get a tutoring position to begin with. And she liked being able to help these grade schoolers get interested in English. She made the whole process fun for them and just wanted to be like a cool tutor. That was her genuine vibe. That's her goal. So in 2023, with all of the available apps out there, there is a platform for tutors.
Okay,
Tutors will
cool.
sign up and they will be verified by the platform for having the specific credentials. They will verify with the school that they're a student. They will verify their transcripts, grades,
Oh ho!
everything.
Christina made it
To
back
make
from
sure that
Blackheart
these
Island
tutors
with a
that are
handful of
online
plunder
are
and
being
a seal
advertised,
of
their
plenty.
background checks. It's basically a tutor security app that parents are
Damn!
obsessed with.
42,000
Parents will go out there
points.
and they will look for tutors in every single subject for their elementary, middle school, and high school kids. The demand for English tutors was actually pretty high, and the pay was fairly good. So Hannah had a lot of parents messaging her, inquiring about her services, including the mom of a middle school student, who was, this mom was very adamant about hiring Hannah. Originally, Hannah declined this mother's offer because her house was so far away from Hannah's. I mean, she naturally wanted something closer because why commute if you don't have to? So she said, thank you so much. Like, I'm sure that your middle schooler will find a great tutor, but it's just too far for me. This mom really seemed to like Hannah, though. She even offered to send her daughter to Hannah's house, drop her off for these English sessions. Hannah kind of felt bad. I mean, the mom seemed really desperate for her daughter to have an English tutor. Maybe she had an exam coming up. Maybe she was the only tutor that seemed to fit the mom's profile. It was strange, but she found it hard to say no. Besides, she really did like tutoring. She really did like helping students. May 26th of 2023, Friday, right around dinner time, so right around 6 p.m., Hannah slowly gets her house ready because this is the first day that this student is going to come over and they're going to tutor in English together. So she's cleaning up, wiping the table down, and she hears a knock on the door. She peers through the little camera and she sees a preteen student, a middle schooler. Kind of short bob haircut that's curled outwards like how middle schoolers do it. It kind of stopped at her chin. Her glasses would make her cheeks look even rounder.
Yeah,
And
make sure to
in
hit that
many
like
situations,
button,
I think
guys,
most
as you
people
come
would
in. It
look at
really
this
helps
face
you,
and think,
girl.
"Aw, like what a cute middle schooler. She's got like cute little cheeks." And she's standing there wearing her school uniform. So Hannah opens the door and she's ready to start tutoring. There would have been no way for Hannah to have known that this little middle schooler that she had just let into her home was not actually a middle schooler. Cheng Yu-jung was her name. She was not a middle schooler. Yu-jung was not 12 or 13 or even 14 or 15 years old, but rather 23 years old. She could have potentially been older than Hannah. We don't know the victim's precise age. The middle school uniform that she was wearing was purchased at a thrift store, and underneath it, she was hiding a knife. Within minutes of entering, Yu-jung established that Hannah lived alone. She pulled out her knife and viciously stabbed Hannah. She repeatedly stabbed Hannah in the neck, only on like a particular spot / side. That's what a lot of the reports said, which would later indicate to a lot of psychiatrists that she had researched where to stab. She knew what she was doing. She also stabbed the same area on the neck over 20 times. Once the 23-year-old pretending to be a middle schooler finished killing the victim, she relished in the satisfaction of a job well done. She would spend the greater part of the evening at Hannah's apartment, possibly pretending as if this was her own apartment, even changing into the jacket that Hannah wore. She took a jacket out of Hannah's closet and wore it the rest of the night. The jacket that you see on CCTV camera is Hannah's jacket. CCTV cameras would catch this 23-year-old Yu-jung going in and out of Hannah's apartment, going back and forth from her own place, hauling cleanup tools, and other times she would bring a suitcase, which indicates that while everyone believes that this is a premeditated murder, she was underprepared. But more shocking than that was that she was caught on CCTV looking very relaxed. She's taken taxis to and from Hannah's place to her place to the store to buy supplies. She's bringing around giant suitcases from her house to Hannah's house. She's going to a local store buying bleach, knives, trash bags.
That's crazy to me, because Korea, you're saying there's camera on every corner.
Korea is like the city. I'm sure it's similar in China and maybe Japan. Like the city of CCTV.
What?
I don't understand either. Yeah. We're gonna go down kind of a few conspiracy routes later, but it gets weird. She brings this suitcase and all these supplies back to Hannah's, and she gets to dismembering the victim. She spends the rest of the night and into the early hours of the morning doing this. She then stuffs unspecified parts of the victim's body into a suitcase and hauls a cab. And again, just seeing her with that suitcase out in the streets, just the way that she's walking is so nonchalant. She's almost practically skipping. People say she almost has this childlike demeanor, meaning that if we were to bump into her in the street, we would probably think, oh my god, I just bumped into like a little high schooler. Oopsie, sorry. Like, oh, she looks cute and innocent. She very much had a girl next door, sweet, innocent appearance that had viewers and netizens absolutely floored when they found out what was in that suitcase. Around 3 p.m., she puts the luggage into the trunk of the taxi, directs the driver to drop her off near a wooded area near Hopo Station. This is near like the Nakdong River, and reportedly the killer, Yu Jung, she loved going on walks in this park. This was her favorite spot. She gets dropped off by the taxi driver, walks into the grassy area, and starts scattering the remains of Hannah. Seoul University forensic professor would say that even the grassy location by the Nakdong River could have been planned. The tall grass by the water, it holds a lot of insects and disinfectants, like I'm assuming it's like pesticides, that would accelerate the decomposition of the body parts within a week. So if she had not been caught by then, there's a high chance the body would have been hard to recognize or even how to ID the body. Professor Yu is quite certain that she knew about all of this, which is why she chose to go this far with the body and even get in a taxi to scatter the remains at this park. Perhaps her frequent walks around this park made her familiar with the area. It made her want to leave a body here. Now, it's all going according to 23-year-old Yu Jung's plan, except the taxi driver. She believed the taxi driver would not be able to tell the difference between a girl traveling with luggage for vacation.
I hope so.
versus
What's
a girl
up,
traveling
Navix?
with luggage full of body parts. The taxi driver would call the police, and it was very quickly traced back to Yu Jung. In a show called We Want to Know in Korea, it was revealed that another bystander actually saw Yu Jung throw away this huge trash bag of bloody blankets, bloody leggings, before she walked away with her rolling suitcase. Again, just 5 hours later, she was arrested.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah. Now, side note, there was a rumor circulating that the taxi driver had gotten out to help Yu Jung unload her luggage from the trunk, and as he was trying to help her, he had touched the luggage and felt that it was wet upon impact. The rumor was that he got back into the taxi, and you know how like the car lights turn on when you open the door?
Yeah.
And he briefly glanced at his palms and they were dripping with blood. That is a rumor. From what I can tell, someone anonymously came out and said that they were a colleague of the taxi driver, and that didn't happen. He just noticed that the weight difference and where she was going and all these suspicious things added up for him to call the police. He did not see blood. He did not feel blood.
You know, like, for him to call the police, he must have some kind of...
Like, that gut feeling that you're like, I know I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. And it must have been so strong.
And that must be really, really
Yes.
bad. I wonder if he's actually thinking, oh my god, is this a body?
Yes, I did see a lot of netizens say the fact that it's speculated it was a male taxi driver, the fact that a male taxi driver that has probably seen so much in South Korea, so many bizarre things at 3 a.m., 4 p.m., 5 a.m., you know, any time of the day, but this little girl with luggage unsettled him so much. Because I think it's one thing if a girl is driving and there's like a creepy man with luggage, we're already on guard. There's always this feeling of like, I always think something is wrong. But for him to be this upset and unsettled by what looks to be a middle school girl,
Yeah,
it
that's
must have been
crazy.
bad. There must have been some sort of, and I hate to say it, like some sort of energy that she was giving off, like some sort of weirdness that was happening. So the police rush to the field where they find the scattered remains, and with the help of the taxi driver describing what she looked like, approximately where he picked her up and where he dropped her off, she was quickly located and arrested.
초청해서 이제 얘기하다 보니까 초청해 보니까 또 우리 금정부에 가보니까 또 내 사진이 있는데 그냥 이제 거기서 지금
Authorities asked her, why would you do this? How could you do this? Who did you do this to? Because at this point, they did not have an idea of the victim. Now, upon arrest, Yu Jung seemed very calm and collected. She was young, just 23 years old, but when the police were questioning her, she didn't seem that alarmed. She just very calmly explained, well, the dismembered remains that you saw, if you must know, they were my baby. I delivered a baby at home, and I killed it because I don't want to be a mom, obviously. I'm young, I was going through a psychotic break, and I killed the baby and scattered the remains. I'm not sure how she thought that she could get away with a lie like that, because very easily you could pick up some of the remains. I'm sure that there are medical examiners that can give you like a brief, hey, that's not a baby's bone. I'm also not sure how she had so much confidence, even though this is so easily medically debunkable. I mean, her body doesn't even have evidence that she was even pregnant. So after arresting her, the authorities also found Hannah's ID nearby. This was left near the remains, along with some bloody
There's
clothes
Zach.
and other
What's
body parts. So now they
good?
know who the victim is.
How?
They
Fuck.
go back to Hannah's apartment, they find more evidence of the crime, and they tell Yu Jung, like, that's not your baby, we know it's not your baby, give us the real truth. That's when she starts complaining of stomach pain. She's like, ooh, my stomach hurts. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Because she's in police
It's
custody.
okay,
See, this
just
is where the
Miss
police are mad at
Eric.
me. Because if you've committed like a blatant murder and you're telling me that your stomach hurts, you never told me that. You and your stomach can hurt for the rest of the interrogation. You're not gonna die, okay? Why should I care about you when you don't care about human life? But because she's under police responsibility, they rush her to the hospital.
Thanks.
And
Can you guys
surprise,
imagine me with the grill?
she's lying.
Like just
There's nothing wrong with her. So after the hospital debacle,
crazy.
the police
I
bring
really
her
want to
back
get
into the
one so from like
interrogation room, and they
canines,
ask her
like
about
just
the
like
events
the
of the
wire
previous night.
ones, and
The
then
police
like
also take her
the
phone and they start searching through
gems.
it. And
I know there's
they
like
just ask
tooth
some
gems
questions.
people are
Did you
doing.
know the victim?
I might end up
Did you
getting
target
those.
this victim? Why would you do this? How
And
long
just
have you
putting
been
them on
planning
my
this? Are there other
teeth right here.
victims? Are you working with someone?
That'd be so cute.
She clearly was not being the most
Maybe down
honest
here
person,
too.
so the police, they start going
I
through
wanted
her
a
phone,
bar right
and
here,
we're gonna
like
come
one of
back
the
to all
bar
of her
ones.
lies. But let's go
You
through
just
the phone
like
first.
clink on your
The
teeth.
police check her phone,
I
hoping
want
to
one of
get some
those.
answers. They
Cause
found
like
a
my
colorful
bottom
search
teeth
history
show
where she had searched online for tips
more
on
than my
how to hide a
top, and I
corpse.
just think it would look cool.
She also had watched a ton of true crime documentaries, allegedly feeding off on it said that she just really wanted to know what it felt like to
It's
kill.
a process. You'll get there.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
But something the police rarely see was that her phone was empty.
Glad
Just
you're
like
able to be
everything.
here right now, at least.
Not like she had wiped
Got
her phone and deleted
a couple
everything, but
motherfucking people.
digital forensics
We'll be
revealed
watching
that Tony
Gang.
Jung, her phone,
We're listening to
she
some
was not
true
in
crime
contact with a
bullshit.
single person. She had no contacts
It's
in
good,
her cell
St.
phone,
John.
which
Good
I
to
know
see
some
you
people don't save
again.
contacts, but she had no messages, no calls coming in or out, none, nothing, no friends, no family, no social media interactions. No one was contacting her. In this day and age of 2023, how nearly impossible is that? She was truly almost like a ghost. Tong Yu-jung was born in 1999, very young. She,
Really pretty.
like
Thanks,
a lot
Johnny.
of people, was born into a pretty volatile house. Her
Is
parents
this
were always
good
busy working. They were
podcast?
too busy to take care of
It
her.
is a good
She was sent off to
podcast.
live with her grandfather,
This
and he was the
is
exclusive sole guardian throughout her entire
Rotten
childhood.
Mango.
Which I think is interesting.
You like
So in
rotten
a lot of
mango
cultures,
over
and
here.
Korean culture as well, it's common for
I love
grandparents
this
to move in
blanket.
and raise the
It's so
grandchildren while the
cozy.
parents are busy working.
I feel
But
so
her
nice.
grandfather was listed
You like
as
my
her sole
alien?
guardian.
Yeah, his name's
So, I
Billy.
mean, that to me indicates whether her parents were divorced or they were not present at all in her life. If it was to the extent of negligence or abandonment, I'm not sure. But the fact that her grandfather was listed as her sole guardian, I think something must have happened with her parents. I'm sure it probably impacted her in some way to not have her parents around, to not having this loving dynamic that a lot of kids have. But I mean, it's been proven time and time again that a child's first example of a relationship is with the parent. So, we don't know. It's just something to consider. Ultimately, we have no idea what happened, if anything, but we know that it wasn't the most stable home. Regardless, growing up, Yu-jung was regarded as a very specific word that I've never really heard in cases. Invisible. Not just quiet,
Gotta come
not
chill
just
with the
shy,
online
not just
homies.
introverted, but invisible. Her former
You know it's
classmates
sad.
said
Thanks
if
for
you said
being
hi
here,
to
dude.
Yu-jung in the hallway, like if you waved to her in the hallway, she would never say anything back. She wouldn't even smile back. She wouldn't nod in
I love when
acknowledgement. She
Zach's
wouldn't even
here
wave
because
back.
like
She would basically just
he's
ignore your existence.
chill as fuck and like
They said that
he's
Yu-jung
on the
never
mod
spoke
shit.
or
Like
replied
God,
to
I'm
any of her classmates.
didn't
So if you were a
expect that.
classmate and you were
Like he was
asking her a
here.
question
He hasn't been
and
here
she knows
that
you're
long,
asking her a
so like
question,
he
you're
was
really
just here, and I was
excited,
like,
and you go,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah.
Yu-jung, can you
He
pass me
seems
that?"
trustworthy.
She wouldn't
Let's
look
give
at
him
you. She would
mod.
not respond to you. If it was an elder, like
More
a
than
teacher,
anyone
a
else
authority
though is
figure,
in
or
there at
even a
least.
neighbor, if they asked her a question, she would avoid eye contact and answer just yes or no. Outside of school, Yoo-jung never even left her home. Neighbors reported almost never
I barely
seeing her
leave my
out,
house,
walking
too.
around, hanging out with friends, going on walks with her
Relatable.
grandpa.
I have
and
slight
fighting friends over
agoraphobia.
nothing.
Just like, I can leave the house, I can go do things, but like, I'm scared the whole time. So my ass just be chilling. That's why I wish I could like find something like a
It's stated,
remote
and this is
job.
kind of random
Would
and super
be
specific,
really,
but Yoo-jung hated talking to people.
that
but
would
if
be
she were at
so
the
ideal
convenience
for
store
me.
and she was owed like a penny back in change.
What kind of music
Most
do you
Koreans stated
like?
that they just wouldn't
Juice
ask for the
WRLD,
change.
Lil
They'd
Peep,
be like, oh, keep the change. Because they don't want to walk
Mac
around with this penny.
Miller.
They don't know exactly what to do with this penny. It's just kind of a hassle.
I'm a hermit crab
Yoo-jung,
too. I'm
the
gonna
person who
slack
hates talking, would
on a new
ask for
job.
that
That's
penny
just how I
back
be handling
no matter what.
responsibility when I got it.
That was like the one time
And I
she
try
was
to
very
be chill,
vocal.
gotta be
She's like,
embodying
give me
that
my
inner
penny back.
peace.
Which
Blood
is fine.
flow.
She's entitled
Yeah,
to it, but
my
people
boyfriend got me
decide it's
listening to
kind of
him.
interesting to note. Contrary to a lot of speculation, former classmates also stated Yoo-jung was absolutely never bullied.
Soda
So
baby
as
for
far as we
sure.
know, nobody picked on her. Nobody forced her to retreat into her shell and go unnoticed.
I be listening
Nobody
to Soda
verbally,
Baby
physically
beats
hit her.
sometimes,
Nobody
like the
bothered her because she
instrumentals.
wouldn't
Not
even
his,
wave
but
back
like
at you.
type
Except
beats.
she would just float through her childhood like a ghost. This seems to be like a choice that she made for whatever reason. She would be so good at being unnoticeable that she could walk into a room and no one would look up or even hear anything.
You're in Detroit. That's what's up.
Her presence
I'm in
was
Ohio.
unknown. She was unseen. She was unremarkable in
Fuck
almost every
Michigan.
way.
Shit again.
We have no idea if she desperately desired to talk or to say something.
I don't know what you
or
guys
wanted
call
someone to listen
us.
to
Probably
her.
not Ohio
As if,
State.
she was invisible and she didn't want to be. She just couldn't. She couldn't stop. Maybe her brain blocked that part of her life or blocked that part of her socialization.
I had to
don't
say
know.
it, Johnny.
Or on the flip side, you could argue that this was a choice. She didn't like people. This was her own little rebellion to not talk to people. She was
Yeah,
deliberately
Michigan's cool
ignoring
too.
them.
I just had to say it.
But she
As
did
an
kind of
Ohioan,
unsettle
you
her former
know.
classmates.
It's
So
just
they never bothered
embedded
to
in
get to
me
know
at
her,
this
but they
point.
reported that she would sit behind curtains alone.
You've also taken on
So, like,
crab
imagine there's a
behavior. I
curtain.
just feel holding on
She
to
would
too
just
much
sit
past
behind it.
experiences, limiting what the future could hold
Just
for
like
me.
hiding herself.
That's
But
what it
not
is for
really
me
hiding herself,
too.
because you would see that there's a human behind the curtain.
Like,
and then you
I've
would look
had
at
a
the
lot
shades
of bad
and
shit
be like, why
happen
is
to
Yoo-jung
me.
behind the curtain?
Primarily caused by
Sometimes
men,
you
of
would hear
course.
crunching noises from behind the curtain, and she would just be behind the curtain eating snacks.
Massachusetts, that's funny. Never heard it called that. I like how that former classmates' voices sound like chipmunks.
A
'Cause
professor
they
named Lee Soo-jung was interviewed
to
about
edit
this
their
case,
voices.
and
But yeah,
as
that's
an
the same
expert
with
in
me.
teen
Like,
psychology and behavior,
your
they
girls just had a
stated
lot of
that
bad
she
things
was
happen to
very-
her,
she had
and
unusual
it's
behavior
just a
for a
lot of
teenager.
trauma
They said
behind
that adolescent ages are a time of pure curiosity
this.
of your peers.
This.
You want to know what your peers have to think, how
As
to
you
say
can
about
tell.
everything, how they dress. You want to get to know everyone.
You got a
your
real
age.
nice
You have
smile.
this,
That's
like,
what made me
innate
pull up.
desire to understand
Well, thanks
them
for
because
pulling
you wanna be
up,
part of your
Johnny.
peers.
This is not like anything we've heard.
Yeah, this one's very weird.
Yeah, I look like I
It's gonna
just
get
woke up.
weirder.
So
far, it's
cozy
weird,
in
but
my
it gets weirder.
blinky.
The professor stated that if they were
What's
to
going on?
evaluate
What's
this
up,
type of
Robert?
behavior,
Just
they would
chilling.
categorize it as
Choo
psychopathic tendencies
choo.
and or
All
behavior
aboard the
that
trauma
has been displayed
train.
at an early
You guys
age.
wanna
So
wanna
Yoo-jung
trauma
puts in
dump?
as much effort into her schoolwork as she does getting to know her classmates. Another thing that stood out to
Casey.
former
Let's not do
classmates is
that.
that Yoo-jung was never angry. She was never upset. She was never depressed. She never had this like passion against everyone. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to any of you
Fuck
guys
the
because,
trauma
you
train.
don't understand me. I stand out. I'm different. She never had that. She just seemed
I'm over
so
feeling like
utterly
that.
neutral about everything. So incredibly passively indifferent. And in hindsight, a lot of people said that might be scarier.
All
She still
aboard,
managed
let's
to
go.
graduate in
Everyone is the
2018
conductor.
from the
We
Kyunghee
all
Girls' High
think we're
School.
passengers.
She had no clue what she wanted to do with the rest of her life,
So
which,
true.
you know, is very normal, but she also had zero intention of trying to explore things and figure it out. After she graduated
Like,
high
the
school,
thing with
Yoo-jung
me is
had
I can
no
sit and I
social
can
outlet.
just work,
She had nothing on her
like,
schedule
be
that would
straight
force her to
faced
interact
and
with
talk
people,
about my
with
trauma.
teachers,
But,
like
like,
high school did. Like, she doesn't
there's
have college.
times where,
She's
like,
become
it just
totally
fucking
disconnected from
hits. And I'm
society
like,
the
god
day she graduates high
damn.
school. She would stay in her room all day.
Like, even that childhood
No
shit
connection with
hits
anyone.
sometimes,
She
and
would
I'm
tell her
like,
grandfather that she was holed up in her room studying
like,
for
I'm
the
a
public government
29-year-old
official
woman. I have
exam.
worked through
But it
most
is
of my
clear
life
Yoo Jung
issues.
used this as a delay tactic,
Just
an
with
excuse to have
life,
in her
like,
back pocket if her
as time
grandfather ever
progresses,
noticed
like, you
that she
just,
has no social life, that
honest
she's
to
not getting a
God,
job,
I
and she has no plans for
dissociate,
her
so,
future.
like, when I'm in bad
She would just milk the
situations,
crap
I,
out of
like,
studying for this exam for
I
the
just,
next
like,
5
pretend
years.
it's not happening
Every
until
day
it's
it was,
over,
oh, you know,
and then
Grandpa, I'm
I,
studying for the entrance exam. She was receiving
just, like,
financial
it's like
support
a
from her
trauma
grandfather while she
response, you know what I
studied.
mean?
He expected that she would pass, and afterwards she would find a job, and she would get paid, and
It's
hopefully
so,
pay him
like,
back for all the
it
hard
doesn't
work that
hurt
he's done
quite
because
as
he's a
bad.
grandfather now. And I'm sure that there were even moments that the
You've had your
grandfather was
therapist
proud of
need
her
a
because
therapist.
she never spent time
Yeah,
hanging out
that's
with
something
friends
that,
or just
like,
doing nothing. She was always studying.
I've,
She seemed
like,
so dedicated to her
I've done
studies.
before, and, like, it just
Now,
made
if you
me
think that he's in on it or gullible or
feel
that he
kind of
should have known,
worse, but,
it's
like,
a different generation. He didn't even know that you needed to have a college level
maybe if,
proficiency
like,
in
they didn't
English
ask
to even
certain
qualify to take the
questions
exam.
and, like, be
Which
pushy
Yoo Jung
about
was
it,
really
it'd
not
be a little
proficient at
different,
English,
because,
and
like,
that's
they'll,
kind
like,
of something that
slide
is
in
pretty
there
easy
and
to
just
tell,
try.
and it might be why she chose her victim. Now, we're going to circle back to that. In 2017,
Because
Yoo
he
Jung
hates
applied multiple
doctors.
times for a job
SLC
as a
Punk,
golf
yes,
caddy.
I love
She
SLC Punk.
submitted
That's,
her
like,
resume and
been a
wrote,
big,
after leaving high school,
like,
I started preparing
I
for
don't
the
know, it
college
was
entrance
just a
exam.
big
I
thing
enjoy
for
being
me
active and
in my
meeting other
life.
people, and I really want to try this role. Thank you. But once she got a call for an interview, she did not say a single word. Even when the interviewer asked her standard interview questions, it was silence on the other line. Silence. She refused to talk. The recruiter was so confused because she's like, you applied for the job. Why won't you talk? Because you applied for the job. It didn't look good in the recruiter's eyes, and of course, she didn't get the job. But when she found out that she was rejected from the position, she went as far as to call them back and curse them out for their decision. She kept demanding to know why. Why was I rejected? And they didn't really want to tell her because, well, you were strange. You didn't respond to any of the questions. We thought you were a little weird. They didn't want to say that. So they just said, oh, well, we're looking for an English speaker and you're not proficient.
You should make an attempt to model lipstick, and
It
I
is
don't want to sound
speculated
cheesy,
that
but
Yoo
you
Jung
have
started developing
the
a
gift of
hatred for those who
smile.
were good at English. And maybe this is why
Like,
he
Clinique,
ended up online
just do, like,
searching
this
for
smile.
English tutors to murder.
Just do, like, this smile stuff. I know what you're talking
Her
about,
victim
like,
Hannah
with
was
the,
a young,
yeah.
successful, accomplished university
Honest to
student
God,
at
my
a
lip print
prestigious
is, like,
school
super
who
cute,
was also
so.
an English tutor. She was everything that Yoo Jung was not, and that may have been why she was targeted. Now let's talk about her true crime obsession. But first, why was she even obsessed? Because of
But
the
thank
lack
you,
of any
Johnny.
contact on Yoo Jung's phone after she was taken in by the
I
police,
don't want to
the
smoke
word
this bowl.
hikikomori has been coming up in discussions about her
It's
case.
well
And
deserved.
quick disclaimer, I don't think that Yoo Jung was, but there is a connection. We've talked about this previously on the Japanese serial killer cases that we've covered, but since it's been like over a year, let me give you a refresh. In Japanese culture, there is a phenomenon right now where adolescents and young adults have become very reclusive. Usually after graduating high school and into their adult lives, they will live in basically voluntary solitary confinement, usually in their parents' home. Some of them will go years without even talking or running into their own family members that they live with in the same apartment. Not massive White House with a West Wing
I
and an
felt
East
that
Wing.
in
I'm
my
talking
soul.
every
Yes,
bedroom
Zach. I
apartment.
understood that so heavy.
Many of them stated they will coordinate.
I mean,
their
I
comings
see
and
my
goings out of
family.
their
That's
room
just
to
because,
not
like, I
run
have a
into
kid
a
and
single
shit. But,
human
like, I'd
being.
stay in my room for, like,
Sometimes these people
ever.
will also go decades without seeing anyone outside
Especially
of their
after my
immediate family
son's
members.
dad left.
Now,
Like,
according to the
I
Japanese
just went
Ministry
through
of
a
Health,
really
Labor, and
dark
Welfare.
depression.
Side note, there
And
is no good
your girl just
translation of
stayed.
hikikomori, but the Japanese government
You're
has
hitting the
defined it
hay?
as
Alright,
the
Christina.
state of
Thanks for
avoiding
being here,
social
girl. You
engagement,
could be.
education, employment,
I do
and
appreciate
friendships
you.
with generally persistent withdrawal into one's residence for at least 6 months as a
Could you
result
post the
of
Cash App
various
thing before
factors.
you go?
So while it's pretty difficult to get exact numbers, estimates say that there are at least over 1 million hikikomori in Japan alone, probably close to 1 million in South Korea, and potentially
You the
millions
best,
in
girl.
China.
Oh, I need to
And
reply
it's
to your
become
DM.
such a problem
Yeah.
for Japan and really
Got you,
everywhere
girl.
else. But the Japanese government even released a guide for the hikikomori on what to do in the event that their parent passes away.
Oh, for them.
Yeah. Because there was a case where a hikikomori, his mom had passed away in the house, and he did not report her body or do anything. So I was looking through a Reddit forum to understand the mindset of the community, and I don't think that Yujung is one of them. And I want to clarify that hikikomori are not dangerous people. Yujung is not one of them. I mean, she could go out, she liked to take her little walks in the park. The only same consistency that they have is that they had no social interactions with people. There is a Redditor who wrote, if something forced me to go outside, like a sudden fire inside my house, I would be unable to step outside into the world. Another Redditor said, see, it sneaks up on you. You think it's okay for a month, and then you
Thank
do
you,
it for 6 months, and you
Christina.
think it's not that bad. Then you do it for a year, and then 2 years, and then you realize that all of your peers are light years ahead of you economically, socially, mentally. You feel like there's no way you can even try to catch up now. So what's the point? It's been known to psychologists that the more one doesn't socialize, the less they know how. It's something that you can technically forget. It's like talking. You have to learn to talk again. And it's this vicious cycle of not socializing for even longer because you forget how to do it and then repeat and repeat. It's happening in Japan, China, South Korea, the United States. Some behavioral scientists have credited this retreat from society
This is
to
Rotten
the
Mango,
overwhelming
Zach.
pressure of succeeding in Asia's work culture after high school. So in China,
We
some
do
people
Rotten
actually
Mango a
attribute
lot
it
over
also to
here.
the fact that the population has profoundly more men
Post it
than
in the
women.
Discord. I
saying that
got
this
you right
puts so
now.
much pressure on men looking for
I'll just
partners,
post the
whereas
link to
women
this
can be a
one
lot
so
more
you can get
selective.
to it.
So these men decide, I don't even want to partake in this game that society plays. I want to completely withdraw. So why is this happening all of a sudden in this day and age? Because of technology. So back then, there were hikikomori in Japan, and most of them would read manga, they would watch like DVDs and stuff. But now with the internet, people feel like they really don't have to go outside. Everything can be done online. They can watch shows, they can watch YouTube videos, they can talk to people anonymously without the threat of feeling exposed or vulnerable. They can go to safe forums that they can communicate with. They can do everything online, especially in places like South Korea, Japan, and China, where everything can be delivered at your fingertips in record time. It's so easy to never leave. I mean, it's gotten so bad.
There you
There's
go.
actually services where you can hire young, pretty women, and typically they're hired by parents of hikikomori, and they'll come and try to talk to the predominantly
What the
male
fuck?
community. Like, they'll come and talk to your son and try
What
to
the
lure him into his
fuck?
room. Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's estimated that this phenomenon is affecting millions of people around the world. And
Oh, it's
it's
playing
honestly
from
very heartbreaking.
Discord.
It's a very lonely existence, I imagine. And again, I don't think that Yujun can be fully categorized as hikikomori. But regardless, she probably felt the effects of the lack of social connection and
Fuck,
almost
there we
complete
go.
social isolation. Which risk of that is mental health issues like depression,
Yeah.
anxiety, substance abuse. You can even have conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, higher risk of dementia because you're not
She's
socializing.
good.
And again, just another disclaimer, like most mental illnesses, the hikikomori lifestyle, I mean, this is typically only detrimental to the person themselves and maybe perhaps their family members who have to interact with them and try to provide for them and help them. But most of the time, they are just non-violent, introverted, modern
Yeah,
day
I
humans.
just noticed
There
myself
were a lot of
having like
hikikomori that were interviewed and
like
they said,
little,
it didn't
like,
matter because it just started like 1 or 2 days. I would
quirks.
just stay in
Like
my
when I
room
talk to
and
people in
be on the
person,
internet, and I
like
thought,
I'll
this
stumble
is
my
nice, I like
words.
it.
Like it's
And
just
then it was a month,
different, you
and then they
know?
were thinking, this isn't
And
too
it was
bad.
never like
And
that.
then
It's
6
never
months
been like
crept
that.
in,
But
a year
now,
crept
like,
in, 2 years crept in, and then a lot
I
of
don't
them
know.
report feeling like it was too late.
Just
Like they
being
had already
like
ruined their
a
life.
single mother for so
They felt
long
like I already
when I
spent
was
the most formative years, the
and
most
shit. It's
important
just
years of my
like
career.
I don't
There's
know.
no way
I
I
think
can
it's
get
like
a job in the
fuck.
competitive Asian work economy. Like
Chew, what up,
people just out of college and
Nabirius? Good to
prestigious
see you
colleges, they can't
again.
even
I'm
get a
glad to
job.
see
I've been
you.
doing nothing for the past 5 years. How am I going
Just
to get a
listening to
job?
this little
A lot of
podcast
them
thing.
report deteriorating health, a lot of weight gain, and you know, when you're in your room and eating cup ramen all the time and just staring at your computer, a lot of them report having a lot of acne, and that would just prevent them from going out even more. They felt awkward around people. They felt like everyone was staring at them weirdly. They just felt like they didn't fit in, and the longer it went on, the harder it was to reintegrate back into society. And so most of them just thought, I'm just going to stay with my computer. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. And Yujung was kind of like that in the sense that she was obsessed with her computer, with her electronics, and she was primarily obsessed with consuming true crime documentaries. Now,
Me.
I know that most of you guys that are listening to this episode because you have an interest in current events and or true crime itself. Now, I can't speak for you guys, but that's how I started. I would watch a true crime documentary and I had nobody to talk about it with, and I just wanted to talk to someone about what I had seen, what it made me feel, how it made me think about the world, how it made me think about the justice system, and I wanted to share these like thoughts and stories with someone. But I think like if I really look back on why I started watching these documentaries years and years
Yeah,
ago,
all is good,
it
Nibirius. Glad you're here.
made me feel like I knew what was out there. Because, like, it makes me feel like I know what kind of evil is lurking in the shadows. I know what kind of people, scary people are out there, so maybe I can prepare myself and understand some of the warning signs. So it made me feel like I was being proactive in my safety. It felt like it was safer to know than not knowing what kind of evil existed, and it eased a little bit of my anxiety. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of how I felt. And I read a lot of comments in here that say very similar things. That is not what you got out of it. She fixated on the killers of each documentary and she asked herself, I wonder how they feel. I wonder how it felt for them to kill. And unlike most of us, she did not have curiosity where we have other interests in life. Yoo-jung
Don't
did
forget
not
my
care
hit of the
to
night.
even watch documentaries about cases of injustice or about
Wait,
all these
what?
cases
What hit of the
that
night?
have
What are you
gone
talking about?
unsolved that need people's attention or to help bring justice to all these victims' families. She literally watched these documentaries for inspiration.
How do we know this though?
So they found a bunch of true crime in her phone records, like shows, like digital footprint, and that is what a lot of psychiatrists
to care
believe.
for you?
And
I got
she
you.
said that she wanted to feel what it felt like to kill. That's another thing. There is a conspiracy that she actually didn't kill because she was obsessed with true crime. Yeah. So I think this is where the whole video games argument kind of comes in. I don't think that there's a single thing in this world, especially a piece of media like a documentary, video game, or a movie, nothing could make me kill someone. And I'm sure that the same goes for all of you. Psychiatrists have actually come out and said, we don't know for sure if this is her motive. So as of right now, she's being labeled as someone who is so obsessed with true crime that she killed someone, just to feel how it feels to kill. A couple of psychiatrists said,
Good
"We don't
morning,
know that for sure.
dancing.
We think that a lot of us are connecting these dots because as a society, we feel better knowing, like kind of what I just said about true crime documentaries, we feel better knowing that there's almost a reason. When we don't know, it makes it scarier. So we're going to get into all of that. But anyways, she escaped her reality to exist and relish in the reality of being a murderer. She would eventually become so engrossed, allegedly, so obsessed that she had made up her mind and she was going to kill to see how it felt. So we know how the crime went down. She was arrested, and she tried to lie and said the remains belonged to her baby that she had to kill. And when that lie was exposed, the police found out who the victim was. She changed her story once more. She stated, I did not kill this girl. I was just hired to dispose of her body. I am not the one who killed the victim. Someone else did it, and I'm just helping because they promised me something in exchange. What would they promise you? I was promised Hannah's identity. She's saying, I just wanted to commit identity theft and identity fraud, not murder. Many psychiatrists would later speculate, while this is a blatant lie, she is the killer, but it does give insight into her own thoughts and desires. She wanted Hannah's life. She was jealous of Hannah's life. She wanted her identity. And side note, police found a digital footprint of her watching the South Korean movie Helpless multiple times prior to the murder, and this is allegedly one of her favorite movies. It's a Korean thriller. The movie is about a couple who are traveling to meet the husband's parents in the countryside of Korea. They end up stopping at this rest stop and getting coffee. And when the husband returns to the car, his wife is gone. She's not picking up her phone. She just vanished. He's like searching through the rest stop. He finds a little hairpin in the bathroom. She's not in the bathroom. He drives all the way back into the city, goes to her apartment. The apartment looks like it's been completely ransacked. So he's like, what the hell is going on? He gets his cousin involved, who is a former police officer.
Damn.
They find
I was
out
gonna
that the
join
wife
earlier, but I passed out.
has been stealing
You're
other
good.
women's
I ended up getting
identities
off anyways, and I went to
is
sleep.
probably a killer. It's like a dark and windy thriller, but the fact
But
that
here we
that's
are.
her
We're
favorite
back.
movie, I don't know. Some people say, see, like she really wanted someone else's life and maybe she's trying to recreate the movie. Others said, what if she's setting up some twisted alibi?
What do you mean?
Like some psychiatrists believe we can't trust a single thing that comes out of her mouth. So we don't know the motive. We don't even know if she wanted to take Hannah's life because she was jealous of Hannah. They said that this could be a well-spun fabrication. that she was watching this movie to find out her lie. I'm gonna lie and say I was trying to steal her identity. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, so she's just constantly lying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we don't know at all. Anyway, the police know that this is a lie, though. That she did not kill Hannah. She definitely killed Hannah. So they keep pushing, and Yoo-jung quickly changes her story once more, and she states
This
that
girl's
she killed Hannah
crazy.
because she got into a fight with Hannah. And the police are fed up. They don't believe this, because why would you get into a fight with someone you don't know, and why would you trick them into being your English tutor if you don't even know them? Like, it doesn't make sense. So they did not believe this lie either. And while she's being stalled by investigators, the cops were able to look up her family registry in the system and call Grandpa Jung, the man who raised her. He rushes to the police station, and his whole universe shattered that day. This was his only family. He raised her like his own daughter, and he felt like a complete and
I
utter
do.
failure.
Well, not a
How could
PC,
he
but a
have failed
laptop.
Korea so badly by raising a killer? Grandfather Jung rushed to the station, and the police asked him to talk to his granddaughter to get the truth. He cried as he begged his granddaughter to confess to her crimes. He pleaded with her, just admit your sins. For me. Do it for me and my integrity. And she had given her grandfather nothing except a lifetime of pain. And Grandpa Jung had given her absolutely everything. This was the least that he could ask of his granddaughter. And Yoo-jung confessed her crimes. I don't know if she did it for love for her grandfather. I don't know if she felt like, this is it. I mean, I'm gonna have to fess up. I don't know what it was. Grandpa Jung would later be interviewed as he was hounded by the South Korean media, and he reported, I feel really sorry for the bereaved family because I am a sinner who raised my granddaughter wrong. I never expected this situation. I never even imagined this. When Grandpa Jung's neighbors were also interviewed after the fact, one of them reported, the girl was calm, quiet, and kind, but the grandpa was a really nice
I don't know if
person.
I have anybody who would even come on panel.
So it's safe to assume that Yoo-jung was just a bad apple. Grandpa Jung was potentially just another one of her victims. When Yoo-jung confessed to the police, she cited her motivation as, I just wanted to experience murder. I just wanted to know what it feels like. She had been planning this murder since February, so a full 3 to 4 months.
What a
And with a confession
weirdo.
and a crime scene full of illuminating evidence, the authorities prepared for her prosecution. She was officially charged with murder, damaging of a body, dismemberment, and a third charge of body abandonment, scattering of the remains. On June 2nd, around 9 a.m., before appearing before the prosecution, she said 2 short sentences as the media questioned her for her crimes. She said, and I quote, I was out of my mind. Like I didn't have my right mind. I'm sorry for the victim's family.
Hannah's usually his track more sense.
피해 여성을 범행 대상으로 특정한 이유가 뭔가요?
피해자와 유가족들에게 정말 죄송합니다.
살인 충 피해자는 유가족께
He's wearing a hat over his face.
진심으로 죄송합니다.
살해 후에 여러 차례 집을 오가셨는데 혹시 이유가 있었을까요?
실종 사건으로 위장하려고 했습니다.
제정신이 아니었던 것 같습니다. 죄송합니다.
혹시 범행 전에도 좀 이런 식으로 범행 대상을 물색하신 적 있었을까요?
범행 수법은 어디에서 배웠습니까?
오랫동안 구직 활동을 하셨다고 했는데 그 앱도 오랫동안 이용하신 건가요?
지금 신상 공개가 됐는데 여기에 대해서 어떻게 생각하십니까?
할 말이 없습니다. 죄송합니다. 검찰 조사에서 성실히 조사에 임하겠습니다. 네, 죄송합니다.
She also ended her press interview with, thank you, which professionals believe that she copied from past criminals' interviews, behaviors, and attitudes. Yeah, so
Why?
a lot of
Like,
killers.
She acted weird?
Yeah, a lot of killers in documentaries, they'll give press conferences and end it with a thank you in Korea. And I guess the way she said it didn't feel natural. Kind of felt like mocking behavior. Not mocking, but copied behavior.
조사에 임하겠습니다. 네, 죄송합니다.
So many netizens who followed this case as it blew up have criticized her words here, believing that her apology is this pathetic attempt at appealing for a lower sentence. They said that she was using her childlike innocence or her youthful facial features to try and get away with murder. However, due to this case blowing up, there's a chance that the high-profile
Crazy.
nature is going to pressure authorities to sentence her with a much stricter sentence. Yet the length of a sentence doesn't seem to mean much to Yoo-jung. According to police, she's doing great in jail. She's calm and not the least bit scared or anxious. She's eating well, sleeping well, and not feeling much remorse, or at least none that people can see. Side note, netizens were so enraged about this comment that many of them dug into the Busan prison menu, and they found out that the prisoners were eating better food than given to the military during their services.
Oh my god.
The menu is high in quality, lots of healthy options, fresh veggies, and even has dessert options. Netizens were wondering how the food is better than the food that they eat at home, and there were questions of, should our tax money really be used in this way? After her appearance in front of the media on June 2nd, her results from a test that measures psychopathy was released 4 days later on the 6th. The psychopath test was created by a Canadian psychologist, Dr. Robert D. Hare, in the 70s. It's called the Hare Psychopathy Checklist, and it asks 20 questions that are supposed to hone in on your true nature. Professionals allegedly use it to assess cases of psychopathy, and it has even been described as the single best predictor of violent behavior currently available. The psychopathy measurement test functions on a scale out of 40. So the lower the score, the least likely you are to have traits of a psychopath. So psychopaths, they typically score on average of 25. That indicates a very likely tendency to be a psychopath. I think normal people fall around like the 5 or 6 range. But some of the prompts or questions, I guess, include, and you answer them yourself. So you would answer like, oh, I strongly disagree, somewhat disagree, and then
Oh no,
neutral,
Christina
does
went to
not
bed.
apply, like all these things. And they would say things like, I generally evade responsibility and do not answer to anyone in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like really easily you can pick whatever you want.
Yeah.
So is it in her best interest to fake that she is?
I mean, probably not, because psychopathy is not related to being in a state of psychosis. You are not, like, you're still in the right headspace. You just lack empathy and all these other things, but...
Okay.
And they would say things like, I have a grandiose sense of self-worth, I have a history of exhibiting cruelty to others, and the patient rates themselves. On her first evaluation, Yoo-jung scored 15 points out of 40, and even though 15 is higher than the normal range, which is about 5 to 6 for a normal person, it's still below 25 points, which is the threshold for psychopathy. However, on June 7th, she went through a second evaluation, and she reportedly received a score of 28 points. Some notable comparable scores include Ted Bundy, who got 39 out of 40, and John Wayne Gacy, the clown killer, got 27 out of 40. So she scored 1 point higher than John Wayne Gacy.
Wow.
She ranked 1 point higher than Kang Woo-soon as well, which is a notorious serial killer in Korea. He kidnapped and murdered 8 women. He scored 27 points. She scored 28. I will say, though, the test has been criticized by some researchers and experts, but regardless of what you think a score indicates or doesn't indicate, it's clear that Chung Yoo-jung was at least not a normal person, and at most a budding serial killer. Police found evidence that she had been contacting multiple tutors. According to a professor, Oh Yun-sung, a specialist in criminal psychology,
Guys, don't forget to hit the
they
like
said
button
if
as
she
you
hadn't
come
been
in.
caught on her first kill, there's almost 100% chance that she would have killed again.
I can see that, but the fact that the way she did it for the first time, it's so stupid.
Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of people say the grandiose sense of self comes into play. A lot of these psychopaths sometimes overestimate their intelligence and ability to accomplish things. Is the speculation? Because she did seem pretty confident in that CCTV video. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Now, another criminal psychology professor
Who
chimed in
is
to
still
state
here?
that they believe
Zach,
Chung
Shanti,
Yoo-jung
are
is
you
a
guys still here?
pathological liar. The professor even goes as far to speculate that everything
Who's
Chung
still
Yoo-jung
here?
has stated so far, her obsession with true crime, her wanting to feel like what it's like to kill someone, all of that is a lie. All except for the fact that she killed
That's what's
him.
up,
That is
Zach.
the
Glad
only
you're
thing that
here.
they think we should take as fact. Nothing else should be considered. The professor claims we might not even know how meticulously
Oh my
she's
God, my
been
neck
planning, or
hurts.
how far in advance, or even what
Why
her
do I
final
sleep
goal
in
was.
this
Another criminal psychologist states it's way too early
Weird
to determine
chair.
why she even killed.
Like, I'll
They
put
say
my
that we
legs
as a
up on
society
the
are
other
going to
chair and I'll
believe her
just
reasoning,
doze
not
off.
because we are gullible, but because otherwise the message would be that no
This
one
tiny
is safe
motherfucker
from
is a
such a random
fork
type of murder
knife.
and monster, and that is more terrifying. Now, side note, on June 8th, the Busan police gave an award to the taxi driver who reported the crime to the police.
Fuck him
However,
up.
the taxi driver refused to take the prize and he actually quit his job. According to colleagues, media has been looking for this taxi driver, like hounding this man down. People around him said that
Yeah.
he's
I like
has so
sleeping
much
on my
trauma
side
from this
too.
encounter.
I
He has
just be
driven this
like
young woman
conking
with
out.
dismembered body parts
I don't
in the
know. I've
trunk of
kind
his
of wondered
taxi
if I
at
have like
3 a.m.
narcolepsy.
The taxi driver
Not
is
gonna
doing
lie.
everything that he can to remain out of the public eye.
Cause
He
like
has not given
sleep,
any
like I'll
public
just be
interviews,
tired out of
and
nowhere.
some fear
I would
rise
be at
because
work
South Korea is
and just fall
notorious
asleep
for
standing
letting
up.
people
That's
out.
not normal.
He does not want his name out there because he was that terrified of Chung Yoo-jung that if she is released, he believes that she will track him down and kill him. Is the speculation. Now, as for the tutoring app that Hannah had been utilizing to find clientele, a lot of tutors have deleted their profiles because of how easily accessible the tutor's personal information is. The original purpose of this app is to assure that the parents have tutors that are actually credible, that are going to the schools that they say they are, that are getting the grades that they say they are. The tutoring app, though, they don't background check
My lip
or
is still
verify
numb.
anything about the parents, just the tutors. And
It's
they
crazy
responded to
work.
these concerns and said, yes, okay, yeah, we get it, but because we cannot verify parents of the students in the app, it's, what can we do? So they've done like little to solve this problem and protect the tutors. And this type of crime is not unheard of in Korea. In 2022 December, one man faked his identity as a high school student and lured a female university student/tutor to his house in an attempt to essay her. Reportedly in 2021, one man also faked his identity, kidnapped a university student that was a tutor using a similar app, keeping her hostage for up to a month and subjecting her to many essays. So, this is the case as of right now. I'm sure
Wow.
that there will be more developments, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on this case? I do think, and I'm obviously biased because I'm someone who is deep in this true crime world, but I think it's like the argument of video games. I don't think that there is any piece of media that can get someone to kill.
Yeah.
And I think the way she went about it and just her callous nature in that CCTV footage, it's just very unsettling to know that she had just killed and dismembered someone. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys on Sunday for the main episode. Please be safe. Bye.
That's what's up, Bradley. Let's find another. Wife found a missing girl's torture tape on her husband's VHS. Let's see. Did we watch this one? It won't let me click it. There we go.
But the biggest piece of evidence, in many netizens' opinion, is the room. On the dark web, there's a rumor.
Okay, so yeah. Let's see what this one's about.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Ever since Ronan, a mom in Taiwan, she's invited her daughter back to come live with her.
They're trying to say the family of 6 was possessed by demons. Hang on. Okay, guys. There's more. Some of these are intense. Okay, I don't know, guys. I don't know which one to listen to. Okay, we'll listen to this one. Actually, I don't know. Oh my god, that. Damn, I want to find one. Like a really good one. Listen to this one.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Orchards are not fun at night. The Rose and Rosa fruit trees with the twisty little branches and the green leaves, those are all pretty during the day, but at night, everything is dark. Everything is gray. The rustling of the leaves,
Yeah, I
no
hit the
longer
like
feels like a
button.
nice, sunny, breezy day. It sounds like somebody is hiding behind a tree watching you. The cute little twisty branches, they're now creating these eerie shadows on the ground. It feels like a maze from a horror movie. Standing in the middle of an orchard are a group of high schoolers and young 20-something-year-olds. A few of them are 24, 25, but a lot of them are 14, 15 years old. They're huddled in a circle, and there's nobody else in this orchard but them, which makes sense because why would anyone else be in an orchard at 3 in the morning? What was that? Is somebody here? Focus. They have to focus. Right now
so
is not the time to get
cozy.
distracted.
You just see
Nobody's
it.
here. Why would anybody be here? They need to hurry if this is actually going to work right now. They cannot get caught. That is the only rule that they agreed upon before coming out here together again. A few of them, they still need to graduate high school. One of them still needs to graduate middle school. If they get caught tonight, all of that, it's over. They cannot fail. What did Kim say? Kim said, you just mix these two together and it'll work out perfect.
That's such a
He said it's
fact.
the perfect mixture. There's no reason for it not to work. I mean, it has to work, right? Hurry, just start pouring it in. They kick their shovels to the side and start pouring in the mixture down into this massive hole that they dug up in the ground. They have to hurry. They're starting to get hungry. They pour the sludgy, gray cement mixture until it covers what's buried. First, they completely cover a hand, 5 fingers. Then it's connected to an arm, and they start pouring the concrete on the arm. Then the torso, and then finally, the face. The face of the 15-year-old girl that they held captive for over a month and tortured. When they're done, they all leave. They head back to their cars with their little shovels, and honestly, they feel good because they freaking did it. They're gonna get away with it. That's how they feel, at least. But don't they know? History always repeats itself, and a very, very similar case took place 26 years ago in Japan. The case of Junko Furuta. The case of Junko Furuta is one of the most gruesome cases of sadistic torture we've ever covered, and it was all committed by teenagers. I think if you've ever kept up with true crime cases at any point, Junko's case would have been one that you've absolutely come across. And today, we are covering the Korean version of it. This is the case that everyone in Korea has been calling the Korean Junko case. We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the NAMI network. With an impressive international reach and a heavy presence in Asian countries, this nonprofit
Hey,
provides
that's what's up,
life-changing
Zach.
opportunities for survivors of sexual trafficking by providing workforce and life skills for the women and victims that they serve. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support
It's
Rotten
already
Mango's
back to
growing
60
team,
and 70.
and we would like to thank our listeners for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates.
We've had cold
As
weather.
always, full show notes are available at RottenMangoPodcast.com. A few massive disclaimers before we get started. There's going to be a lot of warnings for today's video. There are heavy descriptions of sex trafficking, SA, CSA, and graphic descriptions of torture, physical and psychological torture. It's a lot. If that is a lot for you today, please go take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.
Yeah,
Many names have also
facts,
been changed for
guys.
anonymity, and also because many identities have been not released. They've been protected by the law. A few statements have been condensed for time, and we had our professional translators help us with the gathering of the facts of this case. But if there is anything at all that is mistranslated, miscommunicated, or anything we didn't include, please let us know down in the comments. So with that being said, let's get started. The best way to drink soju is on the floor. I mean, there's just something about it that usually hits better. You get all of your friends in a circle. You get bottles of soju, which is hard liquor. You get cup ramen, snacks, and you sit in this circle on the floor playing drinking games. I think it's nice because you only do that when you're younger, and it's always this memory. In South Korea, a mix of high school girls and college-aged boys, yes, very alarming, are sitting in the motel room on the floor drinking soju. At first glance, if you were to just peek inside this room, it looks like they're playing drinking games. And maybe that's why one of the girls is more drunk than the others. Typically in Korean drinking games, it is slightly unfair because if you lose the first few rounds, you have to take a shot of soju every time you lose the game. But if you're already drinking soju, you're likely to lose the next round of games, so then you end up drinking more rapidly than everybody else. So that results in some people being way more drunk than the others, but usually everybody catches up by the end of the night. That is not the case here. The energy in this motel room is not normal. The group of 7, there's 7 of them, they're joking around. They're having fun, they're engaged. And then one of them, the 8th one, the very drunk girl, Yuna, she's kind of sitting off to the side, crouched down with her hair in her face. It looks like she's being forced to be there. Like she just wants to go lay down, but for some reason they're not letting her, or for some reason she can't leave. Nobody is even engaging with her. But every once in a while, they'll grab an empty cold noodle bowl, a naengmyeon bowl, fill it to the brim. These are big bowls. Think of like a pasta dish. They'll fill it to the brim with alcohol. About 2 bottles of soju. They put it on the floor, right in front of Yuna. Drink it. She will have to bend down and drink the entire bowl. They will not let her stop. To give you an idea, soju typically has an alcohol by volume of 20%, which is about half a vodka, but it's still strong enough that most people will take shots of soju. It's not like beer or wine where you just get like a nice big glass of it and drink it. It's a spirit. You take shots, you mix it with something else, or you sip it really, really slowly. You do not ever chug 2 bottles of it. That would be like getting 8 shots of vodka, pouring it into a single drinking glass, and then chugging it like a glass of water. You're not gonna have a good time. The minute that the 2 bottles of soju goes down Yuna's throat and into her stomach, it comes right back up. She throws it right back up, all over the floor. The teenagers around her are a mix of disgusted and also kind of intrigued about what's going to happen next. Because she's not supposed to throw up. I mean, she probably would throw up, but she's not allowed to throw up. The guy sitting next to Yuna smirks, and for a moment
That's
it's quiet,
sad.
until he grabs her by the back of the head, shoves her face into her own vomit. Eat it. Yuna is the group's plaything, and just like Junko Furuta, she will be held captive and tortured for a month straight by teenagers her age. Do you think history repeats itself? I feel like that's a big question people like to ask. And if it doesn't, then how does the same crime happen 26 years apart from each other? It's not even the same in terms of, oh, it's both a case of kidnapping, sadistic essay, torture, and murder, but the cases feel eerily similar, down to how the perpetrators are caught, how the victims try to escape, how they're lit on fire. Everything feels similar. 2 girls, 2 different countries, 26 years apart, held captive, tortured in very creepy, similar ways.
Was it inspired by the first?
It
case?
doesn't seem like it.
Joseph, it's a true crime podcast.
Wow.
Because I imagine if it did, it would have come about like, oh, this person was obsessed with these types of dark cases. They had a fascination for serial killers. You know how it always comes out. They had a journal where they wrote Richard Ramirez, heart.
It's sad. It's rotten,
Both
Mingo.
cases, the case of Junko Furuta in Japan in 1988 and the case of Yuna in South Korea in 2014, both cases start with a kidnapping from a helpful hand, someone that they believe is going to help them. But there is this saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Japan, 1988. 17-year-old Junko is rubbing her bruised knee. She's laying kind of awkwardly in a ditch on the side of the road. Her bike is practically on top of her at this point. It's 8:30 p.m. It's not the most optimal time to get injured alone. Junko looks up. She's frustrated. She was riding her bike home from her part-time job when this random 15-year-old boy comes up to her out of nowhere, completely unprovoked, and kicks the side of her bike. She and her bike go flying off the road into this ditch, and now she's rubbing her slightly bloody knees. She's dusting the dirt off her legs when this figure walks up to her. Another boy, maybe a little older, perhaps 18. He offers to help her up. That guy is famous around here, the one that kicked you. He's a pervert. He once threatened me with a knife, you know. Come on, let's get you up. I can escort you home if you'd like. I'm sure he's still somewhere around here. It's a split-second decision. Do you risk being alone and vulnerable to the bite-kicking pervert to come back and get you? Or do you take the helping hand, hoping it's someone safer? The possibility that the two of them planned for this to happen probably does not cross your mind.
Oh, it was pre-planned?
Pre-planned. They're friends.
Damn.
As Junko and the helping hand are walking towards her house, they
It's
pass
the
by one of those
robot
abandoned
guy.
warehouses,
Yeah.
and suddenly this guy's attitude completely switches. You know I'm a Yakuza member, right? It's like the mafia, but in Japan. This is our whole thing. We kill you by faking an accident, we hit you with a car, but I can forgive you if you offer yourself to me. He drags Junko into the abandoned
You
warehouse
offer
and
yourself
essays
to
her.
me.
But when he's done, he is sitting next to her, he's very panicked, and he tries to convince her, actually, there's more. The Yakuza still wants to kill you, but because you look kind of like my girlfriend, I feel a little bit of sympathy for you. I want to let you live. I can talk to my superiors and ask them not to kill you, but you have to stay with me for maybe the weekend? He leaves to call two of his friends and he tells them, I've captured a woman. Do you guys want to eat together? That night, him and his three friends would take turns gang essaying her and they would invite more friends over, and soon the torture would begin. They decide, why let this girl go? Why let her go home when they can keep her captive and make her their little personal plaything? Junko would be kidnapped by what was supposed to be a helping hand. South Korea 2014. A guy named Kim is sitting at his desk texting his girlfriend Yuna. He's comforting her. Yuna is, to put it nicely, she's going through it. Her home life isn't the best. Her mom was an alcoholic. Her parents are divorced. She's living alone with her dad, but they were never really that close to begin with, so they're always kind of a little awkward. The house is quiet. Yuna could probably benefit at this point from some stability, but instead, her dad picked up all their bags, moved to a completely different city where she has no friends, no connections, and she doesn't even speak that city's dialect, which results in her new high school friends bullying her relentlessly. Another girl from the school would say, I mean, some of the bully girls didn't like Yuna because she was quiet. She kept to herself. She didn't try too hard to make friends.
Ooh.
She also had a pretty face, and I guess the bullies did not like that.
She's like, what, 15, 16?
She is 15. She would text Kim, her boyfriend, I don't like school, I don't like my dad, I hate everything. Kim debates on how to respond to something like that, and he settles with, then just leave. What? Are you suggesting I run away right now? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can leave and get some fresh air. 바람새, which means truly get some fresh air. It's obvious you're not going to feel better when you're stuck at home with your dad. I guess that's true. So then, does that mean you're going to stay with me? Kim hesitates again before he starts clicking away on his phone. The text reads, of course, I have a car so I can drive you around. We can go grab some yummy food, have fun, and just relax. Then I can drop you back off at home. I don't know, I feel like my dad's going to be really worried. Well, if you ever do, just call me. Your dad will understand if you just tell him you're gonna hang out with friends. I did all of that too when I was your age. Kim is 24. She's 15. I did that too when I was your age. You trust me, right? Yuna responds, of course I trust you. Thank you. I always feel better when we talk. Kim responds, good, I'm glad I can help. I can't wait to meet you in person. What about tomorrow?
Wait, they haven't met, or?
They've never met. They met online. It's 2014. Kim is anxious because what if Yuna doesn't want to meet with him, or she's not ready for a serious relationship? Maybe he's coming on too strong. Maybe it's too quick. He's tapping his feet, anxiously waiting for a response, and it finally comes in. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Kim turns to his side, where a guy
Hey
friend of his
Megan,
is
everything is
standing,
good.
nodding his head. Fuck yeah. They high-five, then they turn around to the two girls sitting on the bed. I told you he could get her to meet. The girls giggle, and now the only question is, how much do you think Yuna is gonna go for? Yuna's boyfriend Kim helps her with her little suitcase, gives her a helping hand up the steps. She's glancing around like, this is where you live? They're walking into a very shady-looking motel in a rough neighborhood, which she's not trying to judge, but it's just, I guess it's just not what she expected. When you're 15, you think a 24-year-old is a full-grown adult and they have their own house.
Yeah.
That's not true, but you get it. And he reassures her it's just temporary. He swipes his card on the door and lets her in first. Once she steps into the motel room, Yuna likely has a gut feeling to U-turn it right out of there and go back home. The motel room is filled with people. In one singular motel room, there are now 7 plus Kim plus Yuna. There's 9 people. He never mentioned having a roommate or that there was gonna be other people around them. I mean, not that anything is wrong with that, but again, it's just nothing what she was expecting. There's 3 guys in their 20s, 24 and 25 years old. A few girls that are her age, 14.
Hang on, guys. I'm
15
gonna
years old.
restart the live here in just a couple minutes. I'll be back. Bye.